What the heck is going on in the Charlotte, North Carolina housing market? Home prices continue to rise even though we've seen mortgage rates remain at very high levels, higher than we've seen in the past 2 decades. Hi guys, my name is Josh Finigan. I'm the team leader at the Finigan Group powered by eXp Realty. And frankly, we're in a very weird housing market. There's a lot of different things affecting our housing market, either locally and nationally. So today we'll review the most up-to-date data and information on our local Charlotte, North Carolina housing market. And guys, we are continuously shooting videos. We do a monthly housing market update. We do a ton of videos, releasing them weekly, keeping you up to date and in the know on all the different changes, trends, and information here in the greater Charlotte area. So if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you click that subscribe button, turn notifications on so you never miss another video. So let's go ahead and jump on in and take a look at the number of new listings that hit the market. In June, we saw 1,366 new listings hit the market, which is a 5% increase from the amount of new listings we saw at the market in May, but it's a 32% decrease from the amount of new listings we saw at the market in June of 2022. So we did see a month-over-month increase in the amount of new homes coming onto the market, which is a good sign, but we are still way below the year-over-year trends for new listings hitting the market. And that really is a big theme in our housing market, is a lack of housing inventory. And there's a ton of different factors that are affecting the huge shortage in housing inventory that we see. And we actually shot a video diving deep into why exactly we have such low housing inventory all across the United States and also here in Charlotte. So I'll actually put a link in the description below and a link right here as well if you want to learn a little bit more about why we have such low inventory and the different factors that affect that. But one of the biggest contributors to this low levels of inventory is a lot of homeowners that would have put their homes on the market are not, because they've locked in a much lower rate than what's currently available on the market. It's discouraging them from actually making a move, buying another house at a much higher rate. A recent study by Redfin found that 82.4% of homeowners in the United States have locked in a long-term mortgage rate under 5%. And nearly 1/4 of homeowners in the United States locked in a rate below 3%. We'll probably see this continuous trend of homeowners being discouraged to make a move until rates begin to drop. And if we look at the average number of active homes available at any given time, in June that number was 3,193, which was a 20% decrease from the amount of active listings we saw in June of 2022. So it shows you that we have much fewer homes on the market than we saw last year. And if we look from June to December of last year, we saw the number of active listings climb exponentially as homes sat on the market longer, because that's right when you started really feeling the effects of those higher mortgage rates. In June, we saw 1,140 homes accept an offer here in Charlotte, which is a 6% decrease from the amount of homes that accepted an offer in May, and it was a 14% decrease from the amount of homes that accepted an offer in June of 2022. So we are still seeing record low numbers of inventory on the market, but the number of new listings are continuously outpacing the number of pending sales, which means our active inventory should be growing. So we saw 20% more homes go on the market than we saw accept an offer in the last month. And we know the number of new listings versus pending sales is a really big leading indicator on where our housing market's going in the future. So we are seeing that mortgage rates are having an effect on home buyers out there because they're making homes less affordable, but the inventory is not increasing fast enough to meet that demand. For those of you who have recently been in the market either buying or selling, we're still seeing a lot of competition in our housing market. There are still homes that are receiving multiple offers and calling for highest and best, but it's not like the euphoria we saw in the first half of 2022. And one of the big reasons is buyers' affordability and higher mortgage rates. And if you take a look at a recent study by Redfin that took a look at housing affordability, they found the average mortgage payment in the US has risen by $1,000 in the past 3 years and by $300 in the past year. And we're seeing very high mortgage rates. The average mortgage rate right now is really hovering around that 7 to 7.5%. And we know that home buyers don't buy for price, they buy for payment. And the rule of thumb is for every 1% change in the mortgage rate, it will affect a buyer's affordability by 10%. So we know this is really having an effect on home buyers. But because inventory remains low, we're seeing the housing market remain resilient. Are you just a little bit curious on what your home is actually worth? We have seen a roller coaster of a real estate market here in the past couple of years. So what you think your home may be worth and what your home is actually worth could be two completely different numbers. So if you want to know what your home is actually worth and stay up to date every single month as the market changes, then scan this QR code. It'll take you to our website that'll allow you to stay 100% up to date on your home's value. And if you are curious on getting an in-depth home equity evaluation on what your home will actually sell for in this market, all you have to do is fill out a little bit more information, and then I will personally reach out to you, put some numbers together, and tell you what your home is actually worth in today's market. So all you have to do is scan this QR code, fill out your address, put your email in, and you'll know how much equity you're currently sitting on today. In June, we saw 1,229 homes close, which is a 1% increase from the amount of closed homes we saw in May, but it was a 21% decrease from the amount of homes we saw close in June of 2022. So we are still seeing a competitive market where homes are closing. We're not seeing as many homes close as we saw last year, but it's because the number of active listings, the number of homes that are selling is much less. The average days on market for a home here in Charlotte is really hovering around that 31 days. Last month it was at 31.2 days, which is a pretty big increase from the average days on market we saw this time last year. The average days on market this time last year was right around 20 days. So even though rates remain high and housing affordability is at all-time lows, we are still seeing the average sales price tick up. In June, the average sales price here in Charlotte was $580,000, which is a 2% increase from the average sales price in May, and it was a 10% increase from the average sales price in June of last year. Which June of last year was the highest average sales price we saw that year. And then every month after that, the average sales price dropped a little bit. So we are seeing that the Charlotte area is waiting much better through these high rates than many other areas in the United States. If we look at the US as a whole, we see the average sales price actually dropped year over year by about 1%. So there's a lot of reasons we're seeing our local Charlotte market outpace the United States as a whole. We're a rapidly growing city, a ton of people are moving here, and we're seeing a lot of growth. And I know for you local homeowners, you've seen this every single day. Also, in June, we saw the Federal Reserve meet again. They met on June 13th and 14th, and actually decided not to raise rates after 10 consecutive rate hikes. Now, just because they didn't raise rates in June doesn't mean we're not going to see any more rate hikes this year. Now, one thing you want to make sure you make a note for on your calendar is the Fed is meeting again July 25th and 26th. And currently, the futures market predict about a 70% chance that the Federal Reserve will raise rates when they meet in July. So we're not out of the woodworks yet, but we've seen the rates remain relatively stable throughout the month of June, right around that 7 to a 7.5% range. So what does this mean for you home sellers? For your home sellers out there, it's still a really good time to sell. It's a very competitive market. Inventory remains low. So even though rates may be a little bit high, there's not as much for buyers to choose from. And a lot of those buyers are starting to get used to those higher mortgage rates. Just in the past couple of weeks, we've had multiple properties hit the market, actually get into multiple offer scenarios and sell way above asking. So with the right marketing and the right approach, you'll definitely have a lot of success on this market. We are starting to see that inventory creep up a little bit. Not nearly enough to match the amount of demand we're seeing in the market, but it's definitely something you want to keep an eye on. And for you home buyers out there, we know mortgage rates are still high and it is still a very competitive market. There are more and more homes coming onto the market. We're seeing the average home sit on the market just for a little bit longer, but you're still probably going to be in a competitive situation for some of the better, nicer homes on the market, especially if you're looking in very desirable areas. But we may not see mortgage rates drop this year. They may not start dropping till we're well into 2024. And one thing to keep in mind, once those rates start dropping, a lot of home buyers that have been on the sidelines will jump into the housing market and try to take advantage of the lower rates. So we'll probably see a little bit of a pop in the home prices once those rates start dropping. But But to answer the question of is now the right time for you to buy, sell, or invest will vary from person to person. So if you guys are considering buying, selling, or investing in real estate, or frankly have any questions, myself and my team would love to be your real estate resource of choice. So feel free to give us a call, text us, email us, carrier pigeon, whatever works best for you. Love to sit down with you, look at your goals, and decide when would be the best time for you guys to make a move. I appreciate you watching this month's market update video. If you liked the video, make sure you click that like button. It shows me that you care. And make sure you do click that subscribe button, turn notifications on so you never miss one of our future videos. And if you feel like one of your friends, family members, coworkers may gain a little bit of information from this video, please feel free to share it to them so they can stay in the know about what's happening in their backyard. Guys, thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.